the moment you didn't speak. There's a moment many of us carry, quietly tucked away. I should have spoken up, but we didn't. We held back, and that silence became a pattern that shaped our marriage, our confidence, and our relationships. What if it wasn't your mother-in-law you resented, but yourself for staying silent too long? This story is about the silent consequences of never speaking up to your mother-in-law in the one sentence that still needs to be said. Not to her, but for you. If you walk away now, you might end up saying, again, I should have spoken up. First consequence, you disappear from the relationship. When you hold back your words, you're not just avoiding conflict, you're abandoning your own presence. Many daughters-in-law have said things like, I just ignored it, she's never going to change anyway. If I say something, I'll just come off as the difficult one. And yes, that all makes sense on the surface. But over time, silence doesn't just prevent arguments, it erases you. You start to disappear. Your voice, your feelings, your boundaries, they all fade. You become the one who always lets it go, the one who stays quiet, the one who adjusts. And at some point, you're no longer seen as a person to relate to, but a situation to manage. The problem didn't go away because you said nothing. You did. Second consequence, it damages your marriage. Here's the part we rarely talk about. The damage doesn't stop with your mother-in-law. It moves into your marriage. That unspoken tension builds up inside you, and one day it erupts. Not toward her, but toward the person you needed the most, your husband. You might say, why don't you ever say anything to your mom? Or, do you even know how long I've been holding this in? And suddenly, what started as family discomfort becomes a breakdown in your marriage. He didn't even see it coming. He never knew how heavy it all was. But now you're both hurting, not because of her, because of the words you swallowed. Third consequence, you begin to turn on yourself. The deepest hurt, though, is what happens inside. You start questioning yourself. Why couldn't I say anything? Why do I always keep it in? Am I weak? Maybe it really is just me. You didn't just feel hurt, you started turning against yourself. And that's the most dangerous kind of pain, when you feel betrayed by you. For many women, especially in the later chapters of life, this quiet self-betrayal becomes a silent sadness. You look fine, you function, but deep inside, you've stopped expecting, you've stopped asking, you've just learned to endure. Why is it so hard to speak up? Why is it so hard to speak up? Because fear wears a mask. It says it's protecting you, but it's really just holding you back. You're afraid the relationship will fall apart, afraid you'll hurt her, afraid of being labeled difficult, afraid your husband will see you differently. So you don't speak, and what you hold in becomes regret, and that regret becomes silence. What should you say now? So what should you say right now? Let's be clear. This is not about blame. It's not a scream. It's not a fight. It's just one sentence. I've been holding in my feelings for too long. That's it. That's where the healing begins. Because when you admit that truth to yourself, you finally give others a chance to understand you too. You can say, I was a bit hurt by that comment and I didn't know how to respond. I have boundaries too, and I'd like to keep them. I hope we can have a relationship where I feel comfortable being myself. These words don't burn bridges. They build clarity. They create space. They protect you. Silence creates distance. But gentle expression, it creates healthy lines and helps love survive from silent to strong. So let me ask you, do you still pause when your mother-in-law's name comes up on your phone? Do holidays make your stomach tighten? Do you dread the unspoken tension? Then maybe it's time to speak. It'll be awkward, maybe even shaky. But if you don't speak now, you may end up spending years whispering the same old line, I should have said something. Let's stop that cycle today. Let's speak. Because that one small sentence, it could save everything that still matters. Thank you for listening. If this spoke to you, please consider sharing it. You never know who else might need to hear it today.